Welcome to this fifth video of my Simple Shed build series. In this video, I'm going to finish up with the roof and do the trim. I'm using 2-inch wood screws and attaching them about every 6 inches. So I screwed a 1x2 on the bottom of this front trim piece so that I could use it to hold the soffit in place. I'm going to use an F channel on the other side, and so then it'll just go in like this. I'll just mark a line on either side of the shed, level with the bottom of the channel, and then I'll snap a chalk line so I know where to attach the F channel. I'm using some scrap wood and some clamps to hold the F channel while I nail it in place. To secure the F channel in place, I'm using 7/8 inch roofing nails and my rigid palm nailer. So now that all the soffit's cut, I can just slide it into place. I did cut the top lip off of the first piece so that it would slide into the channel on the other side. So I cut up another piece of the F channel to hold this end of the soffit in place, and it will just slide into the F channel here and then the base that I've created with the trim. I'm using some 1 1/4 inch wafer head screws. So I want a little bit more separation between the trim and the siding, and I have extra OSB offcuts, so I'm going to go ahead and just glue these OSB pieces that I've cut to the trim, and that'll give me an extra 1/2 inch of depth on all of my trim. It's been raining on and off this morning, and I didn't want to have my cell phone outside, so I did put one side of the trim up, and I'm just getting ready to do the other side. It looks like the rain is stopped for right now. I attached the side to the front trim with these trim head screws, and I attached the trim to the side of the shed with these 2.5 inch exterior wood screws. didn't even bother trying to film adding the shingles to my shed roof. It's just too tight up there. There's not a lot of room between the top of the shed and the joists in my deck. And it was just kind of a miserable experience. A lot of grunting, a lot of sentence enhancers. But it's done now, and I'm happy with the way it turned out. I went ahead and used this seam tape for all of the seams. There's a seam across the top of the OSB, and then I also seamed along, put it on the edges coming down in the front of the shed. I used this heavy duty felt, and I only needed 2 sections of it. Start on the bottom. I used these plastic cap nails to put it down. So if you start on the bottom and then put the second sheet on the top, then you have an overlap. That's the way you want to lay this out. I did splurge on this starter strip. It has an adhesive backing to it. And really it wasn't so much for the starting as it was for the last row along the top where my concrete wall is. It was hard to get up there, and this was a little bit easier to work with, and I cut off the adhesive on the top, and I just put a strip along the top of the roof. I did put some mastic down underneath this, and then I put a heavy bead of silicone caulk across the whole top between where this ended up in the concrete. And that's working just fine. To put down the 3-tab shingles, I used 7/8 inch roofing nails. And really the thing that made this possible was this rigid palm nailer. Between my lack of mobility and that small space, there's just no way I could have driven in any of these nails. But this thing works great. I did try it at the store before I bought it to make sure that it would handle these wider heads on the roofing nails, and it does just fine. If you haven't used these before, they're simple to use. Just add a drop of oil down in the gun. There's a magnet in there that takes it down, but once you have the nail in, it's just a matter of putting it on the surface. Once you put a little bit of pressure on it, drives it in. If it doesn't go in quite flat, you can always put the hammer back over it and drive it down again to get it flat. This worked really well and allowed me to get the shingles secured to the roof. The shingles come with layout instructions, cutting instructions, and also where to nail the shingles, and it makes it a piece of cake. You can just follow along. One thing I did do was I snapped a chalk line for the first row of shingles, and then after that I just used this combination square on the row before the next row to make sure I was lining it up the same distance across the entire length. And that was easy, it was fast, it worked okay. Well, that's what I did for my roof. Now I'll get back to cutting the door opening and putting on the rest of the trim.
The concrete wall on the right side of my shed is not plumb. To fill the gap, I'm using some 1/2 inch poly foam, and then I'm going to cover that up with some caulk.
I went ahead and mitered the edges on the trim for the 4 pieces that are going to be on the front. That'll hide the bottom layer of the OSB that's attached to the back of the 3/4 inch trim. So I ran out of construction adhesive and I can't get back to the store today, so I'm going to use exterior wood glue. So this side of the concrete wall is really wonky, and I went ahead and scribed a line down the wall onto the trim, and then I cut that out with my jigsaw, and I'm just going to go ahead and do some white caulk along the edge, and that'll blend it right in.
Well, that wraps up the roof and the trim. Stay tuned for the next video where I build and install the door. I hope you found something useful in this video and will subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video.